Welcome back to my channel. It was a long weekend and I unfortunately didn't get to check out any new music last week when it dropped on Friday. And this album specifically is one that I've been pretty stoked about, very eager to listen to ever since she dropped the lead single off of the album, which is called Home to Another One. And truthfully, it's one of my favorite songs of the year. Sonically, it's a song that I really fell in love with and it just clicked for me. It was on repeat for a while and it's still somewhat in my rotation. You know, I've discovered a lot of new music, so you know, that's just, you listen to new stuff here and there. But yeah, that's a song I really love. That song alone just made me really excited for this album. The album is called Silence Between Songs and she just released it this past Friday, so it's very new. And the only songs that I've listened to from this album are the singles Home to Another One and the single Spinnin'. I listened to Spinnin' a few times. It wasn't sonically my favorite song, but lyrically, from what I remember, it was very personal and powerful and meaningful, and I appreciated it for what it was lyrically. Sonically, I don't remember it actually catching my attention that well. I know that she has 2 songs on here that she released before too. I think they were just singles, and I think she included them in this album because it was probably around the same, you know, era and time period that she was writing and creating this music. And those songs are Dangerous and Reckless. And I may have heard Reckless. It has 400 million streams, so I wouldn't be surprised if I listened to it already, but I don't necessarily recall listening to that song. So we're gonna get into the album. We're gonna go from top to bottom. I'm gonna do my best to, you know, really try to listen and analyze the lyrics and just sonically and give you guys my full genuine reaction. I have no idea what I'm getting into. I know that she was going more into this alternative pop sound, and you get that right away from Home to Another One. I've listened to a good amount of Madison Beer's songs. Foolish is one of my favorites. I know her song Baby from Life Support was pretty popular and I loved that song. So I'm really curious to see what this album sounds like as a whole. I know that she took a lot of inspiration from Lana, and I feel like Lana was kind of, I wouldn't say mentor, but I know she did give her like a lot of advice. She gave her a lot of advice or feedback from this album because I think Madison Beer reached out to her, and yeah, I don't know the entire story, but I know there was some sort of connection there. I will be pausing frequently due to copyright and just due to trying to analyze and listen to the songs and just take it in fully and give you guys a really good, genuine, solid reaction. This is Silence Between Songs by Madison Beer. Track 1 is Spinnin'. Did the world stop spinning? Nothing seems to change. What I do remember about the song is the music video and how she's pretty much walking around like the city and just everything's kind of frozen. I just know it has to do with something about like the world stopping, but also feeling very alone because you're the only one that's like alive and moving, and you know, I don't know, that's just kind of what I remember, but I don't remember exactly the lyrics from it. So yeah, let's continue. Did the sun stop rising? 'Cause the sky's so gray. Up spinning today. Okay. Lyrically, this is a very understandable song to put at the beginning of the album, because it seems like she's doing a lot of reflecting on not only her state of mind, but like just where she is in life. 'Cause I'd rather live in my dream, spinning at my frozen empire. In that lyric, she says like, I think something about just going back to sleep because I think she'd rather just live in her dreams. It feels she can be happier that way. It furthers the conversation of perfection not being a thing and not being something that's pursuable. This song alone is just her analyzing her own thoughts and really just trying to understand how she's feeling. And it takes a lot of questions to really, I guess, get to the bottom of why you're feeling a certain way. I'd rather live in my dream. Okay, I forget that Madison Beer is also a pretty good vocalist. She has such a pretty tone. For me, I don't think it's a voice that you expect or would need to hear belt and you do a bunch of gymnastics with their voice, you know, because her voice just sonically is very appealing and really pretty and beautiful. And that works for a lot of artists, but honestly, I don't think I hear a lot of Madison Beer, like, you know, belting and, you know, giving us these really amazing vocals. But then again, like, I haven't heard a full-length project of Madison Beer, so maybe I'm missing out a lot. Maybe I haven't just heard the right songs or enough from her to kind of give her credit where it's due. When I was first listening to the song, I don't know how I felt about it because I don't know what standards I had compared to like the lead single, Home to Another One, and Spinnin'. They're very different, but it makes sense why they're in an album together. They feel cohesive together. Yeah, like honestly, second listen, I'm liking this. I don't know if this would be in my rotation, but I really appreciate the song for what it is because lyrically it's very powerful. Sonically, it's still very beautiful. I'm stuck at the beginning and I'm still in pain. I'm stuck in the beginning and I'm still in pain. Is something that's something that's really important to come to terms with because sometimes you can be, I guess, oblivious to the fact that you're kind of stuck and you can't really see how that's affecting you. And I feel like someone who's, you know, made a lot of personal progress in terms of, you know, getting past certain struggles and all of that, I think that a big part of my growth has been from the help of realizing that I hate that I feel stuck and I know that I want to move forward. Stop spinning today. So I think this sets kind of the tone for like understanding where you are mentally and knowing that you're not doing well, knowing that you're having all these kind of battles with your mind about where you are. So I think for an opening track, it's very, very good, very strong. It's a really good opener. It's a solid track. Track 2, Sweet Relief. Please leave, Godspeed. I can't be around you right now. Don't speak, baby, listen to me. Ooh. Okay, this one's moving me, you know? Sonically, a song has to catch my attention, and this has already done that. Sweet Relief, the relief of, you know, not letting someone go or moving or kicking someone out of your life, maybe. And like feeling really good about it. Reckless. It's just something only we know. Okay, I'm digging this. And I can see myself liking this one a lot. She's pretty much acknowledging the fact that she thinks about this guy a lot or this person a lot. Everywhere they go and everything they do, she's thinking of them. She just wants to forget him because it's too much. She wants to be over it. So, okay, I see where this is going. Ooh, what is this? Hey, you know what? I'm liking this. Yeah, I'm liking this a lot. If Home to Another One had like an older sister and was a little like sexier or more provocative, but still Home to Another One can hold her ground, you know? She knows, she's still confident, she's still very, very assertive, and she knows who she is. They're different, but they give the same energy. It's interesting because the placement of this is the second track, and Home to Another One is track 10. So, like I said, there's probably a story from the beginning to the end, so I'm sure it makes sense. Hey, okay. I like that one, Madison Beer. I feel like it's gonna be stuck in my head. This is only track 2. Okay. I feel like Sweet Relief is about getting like closure from someone you know, like you just don't want to think about or be around anymore. Maybe it's also about like Because then it's she's saying it's only something we can see or be or something like that. And maybe she's okay with like the small toxicity of the relationship with this person. Maybe it's not serious anymore, but maybe she's still having fun. And sweet relief could maybe just mean like her getting her pleasure and just enjoying that. Track number 3, Envy the Leaves.
I envy the leaves, they're all so carefree and unaware of the fall.
Wow. Okay.
It's quite easy to be a drop in the ocean with no worries and no questions at all.
The beat is kind of reminds me of Getting Older by Billie Eilish. Dun, 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 dun. You know what I mean? If you've heard it, you know what I mean. I've 100% felt like this before, where you just rather be literally anything else that doesn't have to care or feel or go through the pain or feel the fall of just life, the falls of life, and all the downfalls that you just would rather not go through. You'd rather be a leaf on a tree, a drop in the ocean. Like, you literally just want to be something that doesn't have to suffer. That is a very, very, very normal and common feeling to have, especially when you're like just so overwhelmed with everything that's going on and you just rather not.
The best is yet to come. We try that for once.
That's a very optimistic lyric, and I love when you can express all of these sad emotions and feelings, validate them for yourself and understand where they're coming from, but also understand that like there has to be some sort of level of optimism that you work with in order to just want to feel better and get better. That's been a big life lesson that I've tried to grow with and continue practicing and continue to just keep in the back of my head even when shit just feels rough. I'm really appreciating the complexities in her thoughts with just her being very negative and then going into like, well, let's just maybe try to be happy and live a better way for once, even if it's the first time. It's just her opening her mind to really trying to get to a better place.
How it's blissfully cold, and it still doesn't know.
Honestly, yeah, sometimes it feels like you'd just rather be happily oblivious to everything and not be affected by it. And yeah, man, I like this.
If only I were naive. I am happy, but still I'm not so.
It seems like she's really in touch with her voice. So different, so crisp, full, mature. I love this style of vocal for her. Oh my God. What? Whoa, 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 whoa. What the fuck was that? That was fucking cool. I hope this shows people that Madison Beer is not just a pretty face, because a lot of people have been seeing like Madison Beer and Sabrina Carpenter as two individuals who are just like pretty faces on the internet trying to make music, but they've been making music for so long. But it's about time that they start getting their respect, and they start getting credit where it's due, because they proved it multiple times that they know what they're doing and that they have the potential to be the artist that they want to be and be their own original self. Yeah, sure, they may have influences from other artists, like literally every other fucking artist in the world. You can really hear how they've grown into who they are as artists, and they're pretty confident and comfortable with that. And with these new albums that they've been releasing, I think it really shows. I really love Envy the Leaves. That was a really solid, beautiful, meaningful, important track. I'm gonna give that one a like for sure. Track 4, 17. or that's giving me like you're entering a hotel and like you're walking and they're like in a movie, they're only recording like your legs moving towards like the elevator. You know what I mean? Like that is giving me that, like not elevator music, maybe like hotel style music, but let's see where it goes.
17, I can't recall a thing. No one's ever listening.
So people have certain ages where they maybe went through a lot of traumatic experiences, and trauma can really fuck with your memory and your recollection of things in general. So I want to see what Madison Beer experienced at 17. So let's keep listening.
How people tend to change.
Yeah.
Too late now to slow down.
And I think she's like referring to herself in this song. Let's continue listening.
I've never had the chance to stop and smell the flowers.
Okay, I get it. Okay, so I think she's saying that just maybe her life just felt like she was growing up way too quickly. She had no time to just stop and live and be young and enjoy her teens maybe. Because 17 is obviously right before you hit 18, and then technically you're like an adult. So maybe it's her talking about how she just didn't get the privilege of being young. And then again, she's asking herself, is it too late to go back and slow down? And that makes a lot of sense, because it's like, wow, like, am I too old now to just enjoy life? Is life just gonna go like this, go in the blink of an eye, since I'm older now? Sonically, it's very different from like the other ones, and I like that it's different. I don't know if it's my favorite yet, but I appreciate how different it is from the past few tracks.
21, it should have been so fun. I wish I had more time.
I don't know how old Madison Beer is. I think she might be like 24 or 25. But I mean, she's obviously reflecting on specific ages that meant a lot to her, that she thought would be different than they were. Like even just being 17, being young, and feeling like she could have just enjoyed being young and careless and not having to worry so much about life. And 21 is a big deal too, because that's when like you're officially an adult. You can legally drink and go to the clubs and be treated like an adult, actually, finally. So I kind of like how she's reflecting on past ages that were or could have been more significant to her. Okay, I really like that. I don't know what it reminds me of, but it's like, it's very old school. It's like, I don't know what time period this would, maybe like the 60s or the 70s. I don't even know what kind of genre this would fall into. It kind of feels jazzy, but like more pop. It has those elements, I think. This feels really cool and very different from the past 3 tracks, so I like this. But I really just imagine myself in like at a hotel relaxing, but like in the 60s or the 70s, and just sitting on like a wooden chair or like a brown couch or something like that, and just reading a magazine maybe, and you know, kind of looking at my surroundings and people watching, and that's kind of the vibe it gives me. I don't know, that's just what I'm getting. By memories like black and white TV, does that just mean like not very substantial memories that like you can't really recall that well, and just kind of having to trying to kind of remember and analyze that, but then just realizing that you kind of have to like move on and I guess make the best of where you are now, and now that you're actually well aware of where you are. 17 was really a nice and pleasant song to listen to. Sometimes you just grow up way too fast, and when you're maybe in her shoes, you're younger, and you're in the public eye, you have to grow faster, or mature faster and learn from shit faster because you have a lot of people that you're an inspiration to. It kind of puts you in that position of just having to really grow faster and kind of act older than you are to an extent because you have a lot of responsibilities. I don't know if it's a song that I would have in my daily rotation, but it's definitely a song I know is very valuable to this album as a whole. Track 5, Rider with a Y. Is that like the name of someone?
Grew up in the same house. I know why you lash out. Understand you more than you think.
Wait, okay. I don't know much about Madison Beer, but I think she's obviously talking about like a family member. So I better get personal. Family personal. Maybe I'll get a better sense of who this writer is. I feel like it's her brother.
Castles and pillows. I built us too high.
Lyrically sad, but sonically gorgeous. Every track has been beautifully done vocally. But yeah, let's continue listening. I want to see where this goes.
Always left you out. You still love me somehow.
As a sibling, I understand what it feels like to be very stubborn and not acknowledge when you're wrong and just want to be right all the time and feel like, you know, you're a really good sibling or like, you know what you're doing as a sibling. But you get to a point where like, personally, like I have a twin sister, so I always grew up with someone my age. And I got to a point like recently, this past year-ish and a half, where I just had to kind of swallow my own pride and understand that like I've done a lot of things the wrong way, but it's important to understand what you've done and not be oblivious to it because it helps you grow and, you know, get a better relationship and a stronger relationship with whoever it may be. That lyric shows a lot of self-awareness.
Take all of the blame for all of the times that you cried.
Yeah, this is her relationship with one of her siblings. I'm pretty sure. And maybe they just went through it a lot together. Maybe they just had each other at some point. I don't know her family dynamic, but that's kind of what I'm getting an understanding of. She feels like maybe she was like a caretaker, but maybe she wasn't the best at times, but it's just maybe her explaining like the complexities of it and like how difficult it was at certain times.
We'll be alright in that house. I shouldn't have left you behind.
I feel like she's talking about a lot of regrets when it comes to the relationship with this person. And I think this song serves like a big therapeutic moment for her, understanding like where she went wrong and maybe what she could have done differently, but just acknowledging it. And I think that's the importance of this song.
A shoulder to cry that you're mine. Two kids caught in the crossfire.
Why has every song been so beautifully done? The cover art just is kind of perfect for this sound. I feel like this song is one that I can relate to an extent in terms of like my relationship with like my siblings, specifically my sister, and you know, always having each other's backs and having each other's shoulders to cry on, depending on each other for a lot of things, especially growing up and being so confused about life. It's a very beautiful track, and I think, like I said, it's a really important track for her.
I know it's hard sometimes. We'll be alright.
I really appreciated that one a lot. I love these sad, meaningful songs and the songs that really help you connect with certain parts of your life, and I feel like this song is a very personal one, and I feel like I can relate to it a lot, and I like it a lot. I really do. Track number 6, Nothing Matters But You. Okay, strings.
I don't know how I survived before I met you.
This is very Lana Del Rey. you can hear it in the voice. And I know she took a lot of inspiration from her, and she was like I said in the beginning, she was like kind of a mentor for her for this album, and this one is already very, very much influenced by her.
Never stop me, just keep falling. Nothing matters but you.
Sonically, it's very cohesive. So far, it's not one of my favorite tracks. I think it's pretty basic lyrically and sonically. It's not the most special one so far, but it's very cohesive and it fits with the album. I like that little connection, that callback to Spinning. Do you hear that? The Tonight? That literally sounds like Lana Del Rey. What the fuck? It seems like she's talking about how toxic someone can make you feel and think about a certain person being them. It seems like this person is making, Madison just feel like nothing literally matters but this person, and like the world just stops spinning so that you can give all your love and attention and devotion to this person. Maybe not in the healthiest way. She loves those little like falsetto moments, huh? Yeah, I you can really tell with this album. I love that. She sounds fucking great, honestly. And this song feels like more like of an interlude in a way. Sonically, it's still very cohesive and it makes sense just being in the album. Lyrically, I think it makes sense. I don't know if it adds a lot of substance to the album. Yeah, not my favorite track, but it's still a really well done track, I would say. Nothing matters but you. It's not a bad track at all. Maybe I'm tripping because it's already stuck in my head. I'll go back to it for sure. Track number 7, I Wonder. Okay, picking it up. Okay, seems like she's questioning like her own happiness and why she's maybe feeling good for once after like feeling maybe sad and like depressed and feeling like shit for so long. I think this song's about just maybe questioning your own happiness and like the whole healing process and being at the stage where you're finally getting to a better place but still questioning it. Yeah, I like this. Lyrically, I like this a lot. It just feels like she's healing. She's coming to terms with the fact that she's feeling better. She's not having any more tears. She's seeing like the brighter side of things. She's noticing the chirping birds. She's realizing that she no longer has to be with someone to live happily or to feel like complete. I like this, and this is like the dead middle of the album, so I wonder if like the rest is gonna kind of pick up a little generally, maybe not completely, but I feel like it'll have more tracks where she feels and acknowledges more of these like really positive emotions. Hey. And it goes back to questioning it. So in the beginning of the song, she says, "I wonder why." I think, okay, maybe if I didn't pay attention, it's just gonna sound dumb. But I think at the beginning of the song, she says, "I wonder why," like in terms of her, like finally getting to a better place. But then in the second verse, it's like she's analyzing the hows, as in how was she able to actually go through all these negative emotions and feelings and situations where everything kind of just went downhill. Instead of going from like, I wonder how like I've felt all these bad things and gone through all these awful things, to I wonder why all these good things. It's like the opposite, because at first it's like, oh, like you're hearing the song, you're like, oh, she's healing and stuff, but then she's like no, but like I still wonder how like I was such in a deep hole, deep dark hole, and I like how she played that around, and it's not very expected for it to be like that, in terms of placement of like the verses. That little run. That's low-key been a standout. It's just because it's so different so far from the rest of the album. I loved the structure of that song. And I love the self-awareness and the reflecting of it, especially being dead in the middle of the album. Track number 8, At Your Worst. Oh, I like this sonically a lot already, but that's kind of sad. Thinking of him literally makes you cry. Damn, that's rough. It's not that hard for me to do. Everything leads back to you. Wow, that's some deep shit. Hope I never hate myself the way I know you hate yourself. The ones who love you at your worst. Man, I've been in this situation where like I'm at a point where like I understand my own demons, and I understand not even just my flaws, but like my struggles and how to cope with them in a healthy way. And I realized that it's just too much to. I realized that it's not something that's healthy to have in a relationship in terms of like codependency, you know, having to not necessarily like tolerate someone's struggles, but have to actively try to fix them. That's not a responsibility you should ever take on. Sorry you don't trust yourself enough to trust somebody else. The only ones who love you at your worst. Man, yeah, because you can't control someone's insecurities and how they kind of navigate through that, because as much as you want to be there for someone, if they're not letting you in, if they're not trusting you enough, if they're not at the healthiest place mentally, like there's only so much you can do. This song seems like a big realization of that. No excuse, you broke my heart and made me cry. Having to be the person that's like in a better spot mentally and being kind of able to look at it from the outside is such a blessing, but is also such a curse, because it's like, fuck, like, why do I have to be the one to be understanding, and why can't you be the same? Why can't you be at the same place I am, so that we can just be good together? At some point you understand that like someone's demons and someone's like struggles are bigger than you, and there's just not much you can do, and you can't even completely be there for them, because then it's like you not being fair to yourself. Sometimes I still hate myself the way you made me hate myself. That like the way she just kind of like changed it up into her own experience of feeling that way. It kind of shows it's she's like showing us that she was in that position, but that she was able to grow and be on the healthier side of that situation. It hurts to know I hurt the ones who love me at my worst. But also goes to show that like we all really go through it, but the important thing is to get to the point where you're not the unhealthy one. It hurts to know I hurt the only ones who love me at my worst. This is probably gonna be one of my favorites. I feel like I've been on both sides of that situation, and it's nice to listen to things that you can really connect to. I really like that. It's definitely one of the stronger tracks on the album so far. Track number 9, Showed Me, and in parentheses, How I Fell in Love with You. You walk into a room and people fall for you like you. It seems like she's saying that she fell for this person by just like simply looking at them and viewing them from like the other side of the room, and it seems like she's kind of showing some envy and some jealousy of just wanting to be like that and having that same kind of power. But I don't know if I'm just misinterpreting.
It's true. I'm gonna be like you.
See, I think I was onto something. Sonically, nothing new, nothing more exciting than the other tracks. Low-key so far feels like maybe a filler, but let's keep listening.
Everybody laughs at all the things you say. They always say your name, even when you're not around.
Seems like this person just really has a lot of influence and power. Maybe not over other people, maybe, but like specifically to her. It's like she's idolizing everything that he does or they do. And she just wants to have that kind of control. Not control, but power over other people. Just, you know, being funny, making people laugh. Still being the topic of conversation even when you're not around. Like, just really sticking to other people's minds and having that sort of impact.
Show me how to do exactly what you do. How I fell in love with you.
One thing I'm loving about this album is the pictures that I'm able to paint in my head. Lyrically, I feel like every song I've been able to kind of really vividly imagine not only myself in those situations, but just imagine what she's talking about. I think her singing style really helps a lot because it's easy to understand what she's saying, and her delivery just makes it easier too. I feel like that's been a really significant part of this listening experience for me, and that's why I feel like it's been very enjoyable. Like, even this song, like, I'm kind of taking it back that it's a filler song, because this has been one of the songs that's really helped me picture exactly what she's talking about. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this one's gonna grow on me.
You show me what to do and all the games you play. Now I play all of them too.
Okay, objectively, I don't think it's one of the better tracks on this album, but personally, I think I really like it because of how vivid this song felt. The storytelling is really good, and that's really all I can say. I think I'm gonna listen to this again and just want to be in that situation and just feel what she's feeling. I don't know if it'll stick with me, but initial listen, it just really captivated me. Track 10 is Home to Another One, the lead single off this album. It's been way too long since I listened to this, just because I've discovered like a lot of new music, you know? I don't think of you, but I do. I still hear you. Boy, you're not the only one. It's still one of my favorite songs that has been released. Wasting here. Song is so good. Oh, this has to be one of the best tracks I've heard this year. You talk about me. Don't you wish you saw us things I do where I've been? Home to another one. Oh, that's so good. When that song came out, I was like, damn, why is she so underrated? Why is this not like at the top of the charts? Track 11, Dangerous. I think this was the song that she released a while ago, so let's go ahead and give it a listen. Ooh, I can see how that goes from Home to Another One to this song.
Remember you this way, safe inside my memory. But I've held you here for far too long.
This album has been very cohesive sonically.
I wonder if you think of me. Never got the chance to tell a story. Am I alone in this bed?
Lyrically straightforward, simple. I think she's just trying to get over this guy, and you know, she obviously, like everybody does, you still wonder if that person is still thinking of you. Nothing extremely special about this song yet.
What did I do? No, it can't be this easy to let me go.
Sonically, it makes sense with the album.
Time too dangerous.
Seems like she's really second guessing herself in this relationship and feeling like a lot of it was her fault. She just seems like she's just blaming herself. I think that last line, like the loving too dangerous, making love too dangerous. I think she's questioning if she was like too much for him or too much in general for the relationship. Oh, it's really pretty, the strings.
Even picked a house and chose out his name.
Seems like this relationship was serious because they were picking out kids' names. Like, I can see why this heartbreak could be extremely sad and even just vulnerable to share.
Alone in this bed. What did I do? Look at me.
She keeps continuing to like wonder if she's to blame for, like, what did she do? What did she say? Did she do something? Did she say something to just push him away?
Oh, it can't be this easy to let me go.
I feel like she's just really second guessing herself a lot, and if she was good enough in the relationship or for him.
Too dangerous.
She's really playing with the falsettos in this album. I can't really remember if she was really big on falsettos in her previous albums, but it seems like she's really found what she likes doing vocally.
No, it can't be this easy.
It just seems like she needs closure, you know, like she just wants to get the answers that she's looking for, and maybe she wants to hear what she wants to hear, but at the end of the day, I think she just wants to feel like it just actually wasn't her fault. Why is it so easy for him to let me go? Like, was I really that hard to love? Was I really that much? It's still a very hard situation for her to kind of process. It seems like it's just a very overwhelming thing to go through mentally. Sonically, it was very beautiful. It wasn't anything extremely unique or different, but in terms of the album and the art itself, it seems like a very important song to have. Track 12 is Reckless. Seems like this is one of her bigger songs, has a little over 400 million streams, so I'm really curious to see if I've heard this or not. I feel like I've heard this. I've definitely heard this. There's no way.
This is a story I hate about how you said there was nobody else.
Okay, so I feel like this song's already gonna be about like fucking cheating or having a really, really toxic relationship. And I feel like I have some kind of familiarity with who this song is about, but we're not gonna get into that. I'm just gonna listen to the music and hear what she's trying to convey.
And you got up and went to her house. You guys left me out.
Wait, okay, so is this other girl maybe a friend? Like maybe someone who's close to her? Because she said like she felt left out in this kind of dynamic. Maybe it was like a love triangle or some shit. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's like a random girl that he would have cheated on her with or just kind of chosen over her.
Told me that I was the only girl you'd ever want in your life. Yes, my friends were right.
Your friends are always right. Assuming you have good friends and friends that actually look after you and want the best for you, you have to listen to them. Stop being oblivious and dumb. I know we all have to, you know, go through shit to live and learn, but you have to listen to your friends, man. It's important. It's important. Boys and girls come and go, but friends are the ones who will stick by your side.
Don't worry about her. You might love her now, but you loved me first.
That one hit a little hard. You might love her now, but you love me first. And it's like, she wants to cling on to that, you know? Like, it just makes her feel a little better about the situation in a way. But it just seems like, this just seems really fucking chaotic.
You must be perfect or well.
At least she's being honest. Because God knows I would be too. But you love me first. So reckless with my heart.
This is a story I hate, but I told it to cope with the pain. So sorry if you can relate.
Yeah, it does suck if you can relate to something like that, but fuck. I think the important part is to just recognize these feelings and heal through them and cope in some way, because I'm sure musically for her, like, that was a big part of her coping skills, and I'm sure it helped her a lot, especially being aware of her feelings now and looking back at it and having more perspective. Track 13 is the title track, Silence Between Songs. I was not expecting a more upbeat track for the title track, and honestly, what does silence between songs mean?
When it's just me and my brain, I'll medicate. That's what you made me do. My music fades, and then I think of you.
Okay, I think I'm getting it. It feels like she maybe, like, in the sense of like song silence between the songs, maybe the songs, like, she just gets so lost in it that she just doesn't have to feel so much, or she can get lost in the sound of it and just kind of not feel so vulnerable and lonely when there's sound.
Let the silence between songs so lonely and so long.
She realizes like she's now with her own thoughts, and that can be extremely vulnerable because it's just, you realize that either you're not with this person anymore or like you're back to reality. So I feel like that's kind of the concept of this song.
It's killing me. I know it's killing you. I'll never sleep. Just naked in my room. Oh,
Okay, sonically, definitely very different from a lot of the tracks, but it still fits so well. And lyrically, it makes sense why this would be the title track. She does navigate through a lot of different topics, even, family wise, and insecurities, and betrayal and all of that, not just necessarily a simple breakup. But I think this serves like as the basis of what this album as a whole kind of entails.
can't be lost when the music's on.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's such a really cool way to kind of portray this message of not wanting to be alone with your thoughts because of how dark and deep and vulnerable and scary it can be to just have to process these feelings that you would low-key rather not do because of how overwhelming it can be and how much of an impact it has on you negatively. I really love the concept of this song. Like, sometimes we just want to distract ourselves from our own real thoughts and find ways to kind of just ignore them.
Close to the silence after this song.
I like that ending. Like I said, that song makes sense as a whole and why it's the title track. Like, it honestly does make a lot of sense, and it's not personally one of my favorite songs, but it makes a lot of sense of why it's even towards the end. We've gone to the end. Track 14, King of Everything. Personally, I feel like it's so predictable when albums close with ballads, but it works so well, so I don't question it. I'm really curious to see how this ends.
Walking on everyone like stepping stones, building a home made up of gold.
I thought this song was gonna kind of go in the direction of like maybe praising someone in a toxic way, but it seems like it's taking a very direct approach of someone who has very negative intentions, and it's already like starting off by saying they step on people, like stepping on stones, and this person probably has a lot of power, maybe over her or the people that he has had a relationship with.
Bridges to Hollywood you took then burned. I hope it was worth it.
Hollywood. Damn, so it's like this guy did so much to get to the top, and then now that he's at the top, it's like he's alone and it's not even worth it anymore. Maybe he's just not happy. It's like saying like, damn, like you really did all that just to end up being alone. Like you're at the top, but like at what cost?
King of everything, but no one gives a damn. You're the king of nothing now.
It's like she's so well aware that just things either haven't gotten a shit for this person yet, or she's just really confident that they will. Karma's real, you know, like it comes to bite you in the ass, and eventually like you'll get what you deserve, whether that's good or bad.
Taking advantage of people so young.
Okay, I hope she's not talking about someone who's into younger people. Hopefully not. Maybe she's talking about someone who like just has a lot of power over people, and maybe the title that they have, it almost doesn't seem like she's even talking about like a relationship or a boy that she loves. Maybe this is someone who she's worked with, who has done so many things unethically, and she's obviously like kind of preying on his downfall. Maybe he's already in his downfall. Yeah, I feel like this guy just like it really thinks he's a shit. He thinks everything's going well for him, but at the same time, it's like she said, no one cares anymore. Like you've done what you've done. People have realized that what you've done has not been a great thing, and people are over you now. Like you're just what you are now, and at the end of the day, you're just gonna end up having nothing. I love that line so much. Let's just talk about how great she just sounds through this entire album. Like I feel like she's just really found her sound and her voice, and it's so apparent.
To wash away your crown, you're the king of nothing now.
Ah, this Disney fairy tale ending. Aw, a really good way to end it. Lyrically, it was a lot, but I love how it went from just saying that like, oh yeah, this guy is going from having everything to like, just they're just not gonna have anything anymore because of everything that they've done to hurt people. And I'm glad that she told it in a way that's like, I know that this guy is not gonna get what he deserves. Like it's gonna be the opposite of that. And I think it's a really powerful way to end the album. I like how it doesn't directly tie to like maybe a specific breakup in her sense. It does not even feel like a breakup song. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe this is just about someone who just is very manipulative, has a lot of power, and just used it for all the wrong reasons. And eventually karma just gets them back. Yeah, that was a very interesting closing track. Damn, this album was definitely very emotional, and she really expressed a lot of her vulnerability and just different situations in her life. She really navigated us through a lot of very mature thought processes and experiences. Overall, it just feels like she really has found her sound and her voice, and it's really cool to see her do something that feels very new but just makes sense for her. I think the standouts for me personally, like for my own personal taste, I really liked Sweet Relief, Envy the Leaves, Rider, I Wonder was another really another standout for me, I would say. At Your Worst, I really loved. Showed Me How I Fell in Love with You. I just can't stop picturing like being like at a party and, you know, just looking at someone and viewing this person from the outside. Like that's just, I just love how that song made me really visualize a lot. Almost Another One is one of my all-time favorites. Like that will be up there for me. Silence Between Songs was it made sense. You never would just want to be alone with your thoughts because it could get really dark and deep and really hard to get through those kinds of emotions. But yeah, good job, Madison Beer. You did a really wonderful job putting this album together. I wish you nothing but the best, and you deserve more credit than you've gotten. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like this video to support. Share this video with your fellow Madison Beer fans. Comment what you thought. Comment what you thought about my reaction and what songs are your favorites? What were the standouts for you? What did you think about the title track and the closing, King of Everything? Let me know if I was onto something with, like, maybe it not being directly about a relationship, because it didn't feel like that. But I could be wrong, so let me know. And subscribe to stay up to date with my future videos. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.